Hi, I'm Darren with Northern Auto Restorations and back with the 1951 Jaguar XK120 Roadster behind me. Well, the progress we made since the last video. It's been a few months past, but you can now see that the bodywork and the paint work is now completed. And with that, we've now swapped our rubber back to the new spoke wheels that I was able to purchase. Again, got a good deal through Moss Motors. 60% off at the time. They're no longer in stock, so good luck trying to get a set of these. I did a really good on that, even though 2 got damaged in shipping. You can see back there, we have to repaint the hood because, well, my first attempt, I had the 2 hoods. One, I fitted the grill to fit into the top half, but even the hood that came with the car just didn't seem to, I'm not sure what happened, but it just seemed like it was wrapping too tight around the front. So we've gone ahead and I've taken the 2 hoods, and I'll show you the pictures of the process of that. Basically, I had to take the 2 hoods and make one really good one. So I just got a little bit of filler on there, and we're just going to finish that off, and I'll paint that once the weather gets better. But you can see we chose this, it's supposed to be a platinum silver, so not the original silver that you would have got on that particular year of car. I just wanted something a little bit more, I didn't care for the straight silver. I do like silver, but I just chose this color. It was a little bit of a, a guess as to whether or not people will like it. I think it looks fine. It's got a little hint of gold in it. I just wanted a little bit more of a rustic or antique look. Anyhow, and again, this is absolutely filthy right now. So there's dust. This car will get wet sanded, or it'll get sanded down and polished, cut and buffed, because I did it in this garage, and I think it turned out really well. I did it myself, and I don't paint cars for a living, but yeah, got the hardware installed for the doors. I had the rubber in here, but I wasn't happy with the rubber that they gave me, so I might actually do something with leather, and then I'll have to pull that apart and set the leather in there. But we're just getting ready to go through all the wiring. As you can see, I got a whole box of wiring that came with the car, so we have to sort through each piece and make sure. There's a few things missing, but I think anything that's missing is all running inside the rocker panel, so not a big deal if it's just modern wiring. No one's going to know the difference. Okay, so I also wanted to show you, before we put the steering back together, I had to change the bushing. So the problem with this car, it sat a long time, so all the bushings and anything rubber was pretty much just cooked. But I wanted to show you basically a couple of the things that I upgraded in this car. So the bracket that holds the control arm to the frame, the original ones were pretty, well, they were okay, but the problem is when you keep pulling the threads off, or the nuts off, actually I think I have it here somewhere, I could show you, but the original bracket was just anemic. It was steel, and they have, because you can't buy them anymore, and I stripped some threads on the end, I had to buy a set of these stainless steel brackets. You can see them here. And you got the modern lock washers. So again, if this was a Pebble Beach car, I probably would have not liked that, but because this is a driving car, basically this is probably a good upgrade to get, because they're stainless steel, much stronger than the other ones. I also did the pins for the shocks. They're also stainless steel as well. And then for the steering, for the idler arm bushings, you can see the original one. Let me just get some light here. The original ones were like this, had a big rubber bushing. And you can see this one's been just pulled apart because there was a lot of play in there when it was hitting the steering. So they have these upgraded ones, and you can see they're just bushings. And then the rubber is just a fine liner inside, in between the two pieces. Probably basically like a modern version of it, I guess you could say. But I think this is going to be a huge upgrade from just, you know, having your steering dependent on like, geez, there must have been a half inch of rubber in there. Well, an inch if you consider both sides. So you got this pin basically just floating around in the rubber. And the rubber is basically the only thing that keeps you, you know, every time you turn on the wheel, if there's any flex in that rubber, you're going to have play in your steering. So this is going to take a lot of play out of it, even from factory. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to install these. I had to have them pressed in, and I'll tell you how these work out. But so far so good. Everything looks like it's going to be much better. And yeah, so we didn't do anything with the brakes. We pretty much went stock brakes. Now this is an early car, and we went ahead and put later brakes. That's what was on it when I got it. So even though the back end is the ENV and had the early brakes, we converted them with the adjuster as well. And so it's actually been converted to a later brake system on the ENV axle, which is probably a rare thing. Well, just those adjusters alone are unobtainium, so to get a set of them rebuilt was what we had to do on the back. But there you have it. So I just wanted to show you a quick update. Oh, and because we had, I ended up with a lot of stubbles on this car. So for the front, let me see. For the front here, we've got the license plate holder, and you know, I was debating. I have to have a plate on the front of this car for my state. It requires it, you know. So I was kind of like, do I put it here? Do I put it here? Down here? And basically, I came down to I had some leftover rear bumper brackets. I had an extra set, and they were pretty rusty and beat up. So I kind of took the profile. And you can kind of recognize it. It's the rear bumper bar that would hold the chrome bumpers on the rear of the car, which we're actually not putting on here. Although I do have a decent set. If I were to choose to put them on, I could. But this is another set that I had. So I decided to just bolt it onto the existing bumper bar, and it just so happened to work out really nice that I think I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to probably put a little higher, just somewhere in that neighborhood, just so I can get my hands in between the grill. But I think it's going to be hard to see here. But if you stand back, you know, I've looked at a lot of pictures, and I think, and I do have a set of 1951 plates for this car that can only be used on this car. So I'm decided I'm just going to weld this on here like so. And I think that'll clean up the front, make that plate look centered. And yeah, I think I like that. So you tell me. But other than that, we're just getting ready to do the wiring in this car. Went through. Basically, I have to go through everything. Just doing one little bit at a time. Double checking things, making sure everything was installed to spec, so we don't have any problems going forward. I got the hood release put in first. Yeah, and you can see we installed the bumper bar, and basically for this, probably not the way they intended it because they had bolts going through here. But again, I had an extra set of these, whatever these things are. I had a brand new set of the chrome ones. Well, I had an extra set, so instead of using the bolts, what I did was I just trimmed the back for the spacing. And then that way I'm not having to force this to go. Like, there was a slight bend in this, and I believe these are supposed to be closer together, so I'm not sure. I'm pretty confident that I got the spacing right, but oh, this one's off. Oh yeah. So I have to adjust this one still. Oh, I see what I did. It got twisted there, so I'll have to fix that right now. But yeah, so it worked really good, except for this one I have to adjust. I may have to use the other one. I already maybe cut that one too short. Anyhow, so I'm hoping you like the project so far. You know, I didn't want to go in too much detail. This is basically just a record of what I've done for my future reference. And, you know, I'm really excited. I got the interior that still has to go in, and we have to install the leather, which I do have. So I basically purchased, I've got up here, I've got 4 cowhides of black leather that I was able to pick up. It's probably been in store. It's old stuff. It's not new stock. But this guy who rebuilt a lot of antique cars was going out of business, and basically, I think it was the guy who bought my red wire wheels from, and he was going out of business, and he had all this pelts of leather, and he had different colors, reds, and you know, it's just like, oh, I'd love to get the red, but I wasn't sure if I was doing a red interior. I settled on black because I thought I was going to paint this car red. And that's why I ended up with the red spoke wheels. But yeah, so the interior is going to be black. Chose to go with the silver car, which meant, you know, I ended up getting these rims. So I said, screw it. Rims, we got the black interior, and we have to do the crash bar, but I'm going to cut up that leather, and we're going to use leather in there instead of the pleather that I think I got with the kit. But I have the templates. So there's a few videos. There's only one video online where the guy actually attempted to show us how to put the crash roll on. But I think I might want to tackle that. Well, we'll see. And you can see, yeah, so before we do that, we'll probably end up putting at least the floor in. I have to clean up a lot of this overspray that I didn't really care because I knew it was covering it up. But there's a lot on the frame that I'd like to clean off. It's just dust. Oh, you can see we put the Zerks in. What do you call it? Rib nuts? Yeah, rib nuts. And gotta put that out. That's for the wiper, but we've moved everything forward ahead just to cover up the wiper hole, because I don't really plan on putting the stock windshield in ever, I think. But if I do, I left the holes in there because I still might put the wipers in later on, even though they weren't great. And I do have the original windshield, but I probably have to send that out to be re-chromed. So in the meantime, we've got the block out plates for these holes here. And we've got the full racing screens. You'll see those in the next video shortly. And moved everything forward because I do have a tonneau cover that I want to mount, and I want to have all the brackets or all the clips in here. So, you know, you'll see some that are moved forward to cover this hole here, and some are mounted probably back further. So how that will affect the windshield, well, I think the windshield comes through here anyways. So do you see these holes? Yeah, probably, but we can just cover them up with something. I don't know, rubber plugs or something. But anyway, stay tuned to see that. We also have the racing cap to go on here, or the racing fuel cap. Didn't really, you know, just, I think I used the actual door for that and welded it in, and then we just drilled a hole through it. And then everything's set up, and I put the vent, I had a vent out through the side because the cap doesn't have a vent for some reason, and I know it's kind of important. The car does have a built-in vent. Yeah, so again, let me know what you guys want to see. Again, this is not a numbers matching car, but it should be a very good driver, and that's all it's meant to be. And it's done with, you know, I would say as period correct as you can get. I mean, obviously, they didn't have spoke wheels on ENV axles when they first came out. You'd actually have to tear that rear end out and put a Salisbury axle in, which is, it's odd. I've owned 3 ENV axles, only 2 cars. There was one I found in a field here locally that was out of a 120, and I ended up selling it years back. But I've never seen a Salisbury axle, so I've seen pictures of them. But apparently, these are the rare ones, and this is all I've known is the early ENV axles. Which, if you don't know, the ENV axles are I think they use them in Land Rovers as well, but the front gear housing, the housing's on the front, and you had to pull the housing out from the front, whereas the Salisbury axle is more like a traditional one where the cap comes off the back and you access the differential through the back. So interesting little tidbit there. And that was basically because this is most likely an early chassis. Well, I'm almost certain the number's an early chassis. So the rear end belongs to this car, and I believe I have the original transmission for this chassis because it's an early number as well. But the engine is definitely a matching head and block, but out of a later car. But it definitely has the numbers for a 120. Roadster, I don't know, but it's definitely out of a later 120, which is great. And you could also tell because it has the proper oil pan, but again, that could have been transferred from the other engine. All right, I'm Darren with Northern Auto Restoration. Again, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below. All right, have a good night.